started with the video. Alright, so now, as you know, we are at the dawn of the preseason. Yeah, we've basically had the first two preseason games. 76ers versus Melbourne and Australian team, and which was quite close for the matchup. And also had the Celtics versus the Hornets, two NBA teams. So those were very interesting games. Just the setup. Doesn't really matter who won, but 76ers win against Melbourne and the Hornets win against the Celtics. As you know, the fourth quarter, usually the second unit goes out and plays. So, yeah, they did pretty well. Mikal Bridges looked like a superstar with the Hornets. I mean, he only scored 10 points, but they were probably the most impactful 10 points the whole night. So, now we're going to get to an interesting topic, my Atlanta Hawks. So the Atlanta Hawks are a team that is rebuilding, as people like to use that word, rebuilding, as sort of in a way, getting worse to be better later. But I ain't really getting young. So the point here is, for me, is about getting young. So the youth here, you can find it in our 3 draft picks as we still have Taurean Prince and John Collins, but building on that, we can have Kevin Huerter, Amari Spellman. These were middle picks. They're non-lottery picks. Number 19, Kevin Huerter. Number 30, Amari Spellman. And the last centerpiece of all of this is our number 5 draft pick. We traded down for Luka. We traded Luka Doncic for Trae Young. So Trae is a talent that is, I think, misunderstood in some circles in the NBA. They don't know who he wants to be. Does he want to be Curry or Steve Nash or Damian Lillard? But it's pretty clear he shaped his game as a hybrid form of a lot of point guards. Chris Paul and Steve Nash and Stephen Curry. All of his favorites. But the one that I think is most important to understand is he wants to be himself out there on the court. The way he passes and the way he shoots the ball. That hybrid mentality of basketball. He wants to be the first ever Trae Young. He wants to make a name for himself. So he's an important piece that not a lot of people can really understand, where he's coming from mentally up here. But we look at the team as it's constructed, and we look at John Collins, and we say, a power forward of his skill set, who he was. Sort of a later lottery pick, even though he could have easily gone ahead of guys like Zach Collins. And he could have been at least the top 7, maybe even in the top 5, seeing how things turned out. But John Collins himself, as a player, has developed extremely well from the first season. If he limits the fouls, he's automatically going to get more minutes next season. He's one of the leaders in the team. So you can expect John Collins and Trae Young to have a chemistry. And I think you saw this a lot in the regular season. John Collins and Trae Young's pick and roll game. I'll show you some footage from that. So basically the way that John Collins and Trae Young play will shape the success of the future of the franchise. That's all I can really say with those two, because I really do believe that they complement each other's skill set. I think on the perimeter, you're going to find John Collins shooting more threes, but it also opens up the lane for John Collins when you have Trae Young out there shooting perimeter shots, and he's passing the ball, so you can always run the pick and roll with Trae Young and John Collins. In fact, the pick and roll will probably be ran to near perfection with those two players there. But talking about players, we're looking at the third most important player, or in some cases, the most important player on the team. And I will talk about him, Vince Carter. Nope, actually not Vince Carter, but Taurean Prince. Now, Taurean Prince is, without a doubt, the most hyped player, I think, going into the season. What I'm saying, in terms of third-year players, on this team, maybe in the NBA, people are expecting him to have a really big year. And it's no secret anymore that, Taurean Prince is on the come up. People know about Taurean Prince. They've watched his training, Rico Hines, playing against Paul George and Kevin Durant. He's a professional now. Defense, offense, two-way plays. Training footage of him shooting the rock. He has trained for this moment his whole life. It's his team now. Dennis Schroeder is gone. It was Dennis Schroeder's time. He was holding Taurean Prince back. So it's really Taurean Prince running the offense as best as he can. Now, sure, Trae Young is a very young player. At the same time, he's very, very, very ahead of his time in terms of mental, court vision and all that stuff. But even as the point guard, you have to still look at Taurean Prince as the leader of this team. And, even as not the oldest veteran player, I would have to go to 21-year veteran in Vince Carter. You can still say Vince is, he's going to be that age, the moral support, for the team, giving them advice and all that, helping these guys become all-stars. I don't think it's going to take longer than this season for one of the three to become all-stars. We'll have John Collins and Trae Young in the Rising Stars Challenge this year. That's a given. And the three-point contest, hopefully the dunk contest for John Collins. Trae Young, again, three-point contest. But maybe even Taurean Prince's three-point contest. But the point is this. Who knows about Seal Challenge? But the point is this. The All-Star game, the actual All-Star game, I think one of Taurean Prince's main goals is the All-Star game. So, you look at wins, and I'd say wins this season for the Hawks depend on these three people. Taurean Prince with his versatility and I think two-way play. John Collins' athleticism, and I think, getting more on defense and staying out of foul trouble. I think he'll just keep on doing what he does. High motor guy, high energy guy. And then Trae Young's passing ability and his shooting ability. That's going to stretch the floor for all of us Hawks. And, overall, those three is what I see the most light in. Look at the veterans. Kent Bazemore. Like, if he takes a role coming off the bench, maybe, and you switch out maybe on the two, Kevin Huerter, or maybe even a Tyler Dorsey, that's a great roster for me, because I know how hard those two young men have been working this summer. Kevin Huerter and Tyler Dorsey. They might not be as good defensively as Kent Bazemore, but I think Kent Bazemore coming off the bench is like a boost, for the team, as well as Vince Carter. You want the right units being out there, good veteran presence, but at the same time, you also want to keep your young talent out on the floor, and you want to keep the legs fresh, And I think that's very important for this season. I think we're going to surprise a lot of people. With that being said, because of our youth, there's a lot of experience with that youth. There's a lot of struggles and adversities that all three have gone through, I would say. And not even touching on Kevin Huerter and Mari Spellman, because they are super talents. Mari Spellman is the most underrated person in this draft class. And that says a lot. The man, he's going to put up performances that be like, he's like Draymond Green with a jump shot, basically. Kevin Huerter is the reincarnation of Klay Thompson. And Klay Thompson is alive right now. He's alive and well. But he has his talents, like Space Jam. But overall, look at this team from top to bottom. Linsanity's on the team. The guy has been through a lot of struggles. He deserves everything he gets this year. I don't think he's going to get traded. He's going to be a lot like Marco Bellinelli. Or, I don't think this team's going to lose a lot of games just with him being around. Jeremy Lin is the difference between winning and losing. And you're like, oh, the Hawks want to lose. They want to get Zion. And, yeah. But the thing is, there's nothing gained from losing this season. There's a lot gained from winning. And, good news is the Hawks fans, I want to say Atlanta as a culture, we have a history of, being in love with winning, and really, it's winning or bust, winning championship or bust and all that. We didn't really acknowledge the 60-win season as amazing as it is, but it is amazing. Going to the playoffs 10 years in a row is amazing, and we sort of underappreciate that, because we experienced some playoff defeats that are kind of humiliating, like sweeps and all that, and blowing losses in the Super Bowl, and we feel that as a franchise, as a culture, an Atlanta sports culture. But I'm saying that, even with the Atlanta sports culture, we can sort of take, this year as to say, we're not expecting them to win a lot of games, but if they do, we can be happy for that. I would really hate for people to just say, oh, we won, we made the playoffs, but we're just going to be mediocre. Because the playoffs is a chance to get experiences for the players, not just the fans. Franchise shouldn't be just going for a championship. Franchise should be looking to have the, fun, the best possible teamwork situation, all that kind of thing. That's what winning makes people feel. That culture. So, I mean, you don't want to have a Timberwolves situation where you make the playoffs and your whole franchise is falling apart, but you want to have where the Hawks are just having fun playing basketball and they're enjoying their time and they're winning. There's no struggles or stress, all that stuff. There's no high down period. There can be a down period, but it can't be a high down period like you're doing irregularly. Losing can't be a regular thing. The thing about Trae Young, what makes him so different is because he has a winning mentality. And, a lot of these people coming to college, they're all winners. But the difference is, it's adapting to the struggles and being able to rise to the occasion. So that's rising to the occasion is what's going to be important this season. So all I have to say is I'm looking forward to it. I do expect us to be at least the 6th seed in the Eastern Conference. But, draft pick shouldn't be the goal. If it be a draft, I don't care what the GM says. It's up to the players, If the GM wants to say, oh, I won this championship because I had this strategy, no. The players win the championship every year. It doesn't matter who you got on that court. If you have Kevin Durant and DeMarcus Cousins and Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, if they don't go out and play, they're not going to win a championship, okay? All right, guys. See you later. Peace.